Hello, welcome to Drinks with Ron. I'm Ron, and it has been a fucking week, which is odd because it's only Wednesday. So, yeah, that's all the information you need right there. But the one upside of today is it has been 2 weeks since I bottled this fucking abomination I've created, unleashed upon mankind. I'm sorry, this is my equivalent of Frankenstein's monster. I feel real bad, and if people showed up with pitchforks to get rid of this thing, I'd probably let them have at her. But it's tentatively going under the name Zombie Mop Water. Let me give you a little bit of background. I made a beer this summer, which was under the working title Trinity Pale Ale, for the 3 hops I used in it. Plus, I got it blessed by an ordained minister, which was me, as I'm an ordained minister. So I blessed this beer, and my blessings are worth a sack of fucking farts, because this was the most horrible beer. I'll just run down it quick. If you know anything about brewing, I did a 20-minute boil, which brings out none of the bitter out of the hops. I used 3 kinds of hops. 2 of them were very citric, really fruity, and the other one was melon flavored. So I used 3 really fruity hops. I used a sorghum malt, which is really light. The malt balances your hop bitter, but I had barely any malt, and I didn't boil the hops long enough to get to the bittering stage. So what I got was a really horrible beer. I was giving people the warning. It said it's like somebody made a really bad carbonated lemonade. And even with that warning, people still hated it. And the color that it was, my buddy named it Mop Water, and it's actually untapped under Mop Water. So after I realized this was just unfucking drinkable, I made beer bread with it, and the beer bread was awful. If you can fuck bread up, you are a bad beer. So I ended up taking about a case of that, popped all the tops, dumped it back in a carboy. And then I took a case of another beer I screwed up this summer, because apparently I was on my game this summer. Screwed up one of my raspberry ales. I forgot malt. 3 fucking ingredients, and I forget one of them. That tells you what kind of shape I was in this summer. Anywho, I poured them both together, about a case of each. Got roughly 5 gallons of 2 bad beers. Put about 1.5 ounces of Cascade hops in there. Let it sit on the hops, and thought, let's see what happens. It can't be worse. And it is not worse. It's definitely better. It's not great. I am not going to be entering this fucking thing in any contests anytime soon. But, compared to the abomination that was Mop Water, this back from the dead zombie Mop Water creation that I have is drinkable. And I think the way the hops feel, and you can see it's got a little bit of carbonation. I tried it at 1 week and it was just flat. So I think in about another 3 weeks or so, the way the hops taste to me, I think that once this carbonates out, I think it's going to be a real solid beer. But I digress. It's been a long couple of weeks. We got a fucking dog. This little tiny dog is barely bigger than my hand. I put it to you this way. I wear size 13 shoes. If you put this dog next to my shoe is bigger than that dog. So he's a little tiny fella. He takes little tiny shits. I'm a fan of that. I don't like giant poops. There are some dogs around here that take shits bigger than my dog. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. But if you've ever watched the show, you'll know I have a cat who's very prominent in the show. His name is Mr. Pants. He likes to make an appearance in most episodes, and he is not a fan of the dog. Now, granted, Mr. Pants is about 4 times the size of this fucking dog. You'd think he'd just be like, hey, what's up? I live here. I'm always in the house. You're new. You're a little tiny thing. You look like a dish rag, and I run this place, so don't give me no shit. But instead, the dog, Ted Jansen, dog is named Ted Jansen. Anyway, Ted Jansen is a puppers, and he wants to play with the cat. He's like, hey, I'm a little furry thing. You're a furry thing. We're both on the floor. I'm running around bouncing. I'm all happy. I want to play. I want to play with you. And he goes over to the cat, all happy. And the cat is terrified. Like I said, a little tiny fucking dog. The cat's 3 to 4 times its size, but the cat sits there panicked, like fucking scared, but trying not to look scared. So the cat's trying to hold its ground, like, what? I'm not even worried about you being right here. And you can see he gets more and more tense, and he freaks out, and he starts thinking about, and the dog will get up until he is like nose to nose with the cat. Like, and my dog's wonky-eyed. He's got one eye that goes this way and one eye that goes this way. Cutest goddamn thing ever. So he's getting right up in the cat's grill, and the cat just hisses at him and runs away because he's like, I'm not scared. I'm just fuck it. And then he runs. Well, this went on for days, and finally, the cat the other day, dog got it up there, and he just reached up, bitch slapped him, and the dog was just like, it fucked his whole day up because the dog had been getting a little bit scared at the hissing and was kind of tentative of the cat, but this bitch slap came out of left field, and Ted Jansen, he did not like it, so he backtracked, ran to his cage, and he sat in his cage for about a minute, like he was contemplating, like, what the fuck just happened? Something like, I went to play with a thing, and then something hit me in the face, and what the fuck? And it was like, finally it clicked, and he came out of the cage just like full-on little fucking fur man. He came storming out of there like, you know what? Fuck this is bullshit. You're not gonna hiss at me. You're not gonna slap me no more. And then he came out and just walked right up to the cat, just bounced up going, bark, 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 with his little tiny borks. And he got right in the cat's grill and just was like, fuck you, you don't hit me and don't you yell at me. And now I'm gonna go play with that guy because he lets me bite his feet. And then off he went. And it was like, he's like, that's it. That's the fucking line, cat. And now, yeah, so I don't think Mr. Pants liked that story. But there's an uneasy peace right now. I think we're moving the right direction. I was going to bring in Jimmy Carter, try to knock this thing out. I don't know if that's going to be any help. So I think we'll just let these two negotiate this out on their own and just hope for the best. So now I'm sure you've heard me mention earlier that the dog's name is Ted Jansen. Why in the love of fuck would you name your dog Ted Jansen, Ron? I know you're thinking that. I mean, most of you watching this probably know me. You're probably not thinking that. You're probably like, Jesus Christ, you named your dog Ted Jansen. Of course you did. But no, this one's not me. So let me go back and tell you the story, why the dog's named Ted Jansen and why the dog had to be named Ted Jansen. When my daughter was like 3, one of our things we used to do before bed a lot of times is we'd call each other like the name of a character from a cartoon. And so it'd be, night Homer, and then she'd say night Bart, and we'd go back and forth until we ran out of characters. Or, how kids do, once she got defeated, she'd just switch to a character of a different show, and on we'd go until, all right, you gotta go to bed. So that was one of our games for years, and one of the other ones we like to do is we just ask her stuff at bedtime, and one night, she was about 3, laying in bed, getting ready, got a little Tuckingtons all tucked in, and we're just like, if you ever had a dog, what would you name your dog if you got one? And she sat there, she put her little finger on her little chin, sat there for about 3 seconds. She went, I'd call him Ted Jansen. Just the most matter of fact, like, I'd call him Ted Jansen. And okay, Ted Jansen it is. So I posted it on Facebook, and of course people made mention of The Simpsons and Santos L. Helper. I said, yeah, Ted Jansen's going to have pre-approved credit cards coming here, and if he does, I'm going full Bart Simpson on that, and Ted Jansen is going to order so much brewing equipment, and I will, what did you do ordering a mash tun, Ted Jansen? Bad dog. But anyway, I'm going to finish this beer, and I got another batch to check. So maybe I'll check back in and let you know how that one went. Well, Mr. Pants, I don't think he's having a good week, man. But for Drinks with Ron, I'm Ron, signing off.